Brenda Ringwood, and I am your host for the Becoming the Best You TV talk show. This isn't any ordinary TV talk show. It is a show about becoming the best version of yourself. The change is possible if you really want it. We share stories about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, sharing encouragement, hope, and perseverance of overcoming from people from all walks of life who are doing wonderful things. It is our hope that the things they have struggled to overcome will encourage you to step up and do the things that you want to do in life. To step out and be heard. Don't let your past stop you. Don't let fear and doubt and what others say get in the way of your happiness. Stay tuned as we share amazing stories in hopes that your dreams will unfold. And remember to always put your crown on. Wear that crown because only you rule your kingdom. Hi, it's Bren. Another BTVY episode, Becoming the Best Version of Yourself. And today, we have Terrence with us again. Man, we've just been like crazy at this.
Unstoppable day, guys. Welcome.
And you're probably wondering who this guy is. You know, he's really not much of anything.
No, nobody. Just financial guru, multi everything, and he really loves to break down not just how you can build your empire, but why. Right, it's so important. So let's welcome to Becoming the Best You TV, Shawn Dorrough.
Thank you. I am well. Thank you both for this opportunity. Yes, as you stated, I work in the financial business and I love doing it. But more importantly, for somebody who works in the financial business, the last thing I want to do or like to do is talk about money. And the reason why I believe in my heart that most people don't have a money problem, they have a problem that's around the money.
Absolutely. Oh, yes.
Maybe it's a mindset problem,
yes,
or a mental problem, or lack thereof, or a marketplace problem, there's several things. Maybe they're dealing with a mess. Whatever it is, it's not the money, but it's affecting the money.
Absolutely.
So what we try to do is get down to the core, because I do believe that everybody should strive for economic independence so they can do the thing that they've been called to do.
Absolutely.
And most people don't do the thing they've been called to do because money stops them or gets in the way of their true calling. So we try to get that out of the way. So now they can run towards their calling without that.
That makes sense.
Show.
Absolutely. I love that. And there's a saying that says a tool is only as good as the person who holds it in their hand. And money is a tool. But if I am a carpenter and you give me a jackhammer, I'm not going to know what to do with it. But if you give me a hammer and some nails, I'm going to build your masterpiece.
100%.
Same thing with money. If you don't know how to use the money, or if you don't know why you're going after the money, then it's never going to come to
100%. And here's the thing, in most people's case, the money's using them.
Yeah.
That tool is using them, and or they're using it for the wrong thing. They're taking a hammer when they need a screwdriver.
Right.
And if you let money use you, you let people use
you. They go hand in hand, because a lot of people don't realize that people will absolutely use as far as you allow them to be push them. So I believe that you have to set boundaries. First of all, you have to tell your money where to go versus it telling you where it went.
That's right.
And when you do that, you automatically set boundaries over what you say yes to, what you say no to, and you set boundaries around people using you to get to your money. So money is
that is very well said, because people will.
I mean, it's human nature that people will push you up to the limit that you allow them to push.
Absolutely.
In every area of your life, including your money. So if I walked around and I had money just hanging out of my pocket, you're basically inviting people to come in and take what you have. Matter of fact, it's a saying that says, when a person with money meets a person with experience, it's only a matter of time before the person with the experience of the money and the person with the money ends up with the experience. They're going to switch hands, because what typically happens is if you don't have experience with money, that person that does have that experience will somehow extract it out.
Absolutely.
You have to be smart with it.
We hear those stories over and over again, whether you're starting with money or whether you come into money or whether you've acquired money, the team, the people you put behind you to help you manage that money. If you don't have an understanding of it to begin with, then you're gonna be at the mercy of the people that you have controlling that money for you.
And that's why it's so important to have trusted people around you. The Bible says where there's multitudes of counsel, there's safety. So our job is to ensure that we have good, sound people around us. And you can only do that through a couple of ways. You have to get out there and really, quote unquote, trust.
Yes.
And trust when it comes to money is a hard thing.
Yes.
I've been in this business.
Trust is hard anyway.
It's hard regardless. But I've been in this business for over 20 plus years. And I always tell people, look, when you deal with money, it's the most intimate thing that you can talk about. And a lot of people think I'm joking when I say it's even more intimate than sex.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Because people.
A lot of marriages break up over
Oh man,
Yeah.
it is. Because here's what
A lot of
happens.
relationships start with it.
That's
Because of money tends to drive things. And I've noticed that when you have someone's trust with money, they open up and share a lot more with you because they feel like if I can trust you with my money, I can trust you with a lot of things.
That's good.
And matter of fact, I've been turned into a marriage counselor. I've been turned into a psychologist, a therapist, and I'm none of those things, but I understand when you open a person up and talk about money, they tend to start telling you what happened in their life at 5 years old and the horrible events they went through, or their marriage is crumbling, or the thing that they're still dealing with. All that stuff needs to go to other people, but it tells me that that's not being shared where it needs to be shared because they haven't yet trusted those people to share that like they're trusting me. The only reason why they trusted me is because they trust me with their money.
You know, and that's so profound because money is not only just a tool. Money is something that you have a relationship with. If you don't have a relationship with your money, then it's gonna break up. So you have to trust that relationship with your money becomes sound. You have to build that relationship with money, just like you build that relationship with your significant other. You have to build that relationship with money, just like you build your business. It's a constant relationship. It's a constant communication. So how do you how do you first build your relationship with clients and then help them build a relationship with money?
Well, first of all, I just be my authentic self, and it's taken some time to get my name up to understand that people now is through relationships. But again, because I don't take approach and come in and tell people we're going to help you with the money or give me your money, I'm going to manage it. I'm always helping you understand money. And I always joke on stage when I'm out here talking to people. I said, look, if you won 10,000, a million, or whatever, first thing you'll do with it. I've been in audiences as many as 10,000 people. And if you allow people to answer it, you'll probably get 8,000 different answers.
Absolutely.
And I tell people, look, there's only 5 things you can do with money. You can spend it. Once you have it, you can spend it, you can give it, you can invest it, you can protect it, or you can save it. And it's how you manage those 5 things will determine how you build your financial fortress. So there's 4 pillars to wealth. Most people only get stuck at the making money. We put all the emphasis on making money, making money. And that's important because if you're not making money, you're not in the game.
Right.
But once you make it, now you have to do the other 3 pillars. The next
You
pillar,
know how to keep it.
you got to know how to maintain it.
Yeah.
Maintaining money is important, but then not just maintaining it, you also have a responsibility to multiply it.
Yeah.
I think everything that God gives us,
And
he's
he
expecting
tells
that
stories
increase.
about that.
Absolutely.
Gotta be a
You know,
good
what the
story.
one buried the money and didn't do anything with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the other 2, what did? They multiplied.
Yeah.
We saw when the Bible, when Jesus looked at the fig tree, he cursed it because it wasn't producing anything.
That's right.
It's about multiplication. Anything God gives us, he expects increase. So you have to know how to make it, how to maintain it, multiply it. We talked about the last one.
And that includes in people.
Absolutely. And then if you don't manage money,
Yeah.
I believe in my whole heart, and I was a testament to this when I was a poor manager, but I believe that you only get up to the level that you can manage.
Yeah.
You will only get up to the level that you can manage.
Makes sense.
Absolutely.
So how did you get to the money? I know you just didn't wake up and start doing money.
No, I got to the money because of my upbringing, and I love my family to death. They're great, but I was never taught about money, so it was always a mystery to me. And I followed the path that I was taught. And at one point, I always tell my story how I was
You did
broken.
what you knew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did what
you know,
you
when you're doing what you know, you're in your comfort zone and you're in your know, if you will. And it wasn't until I realized I can't live like this anymore. I was blessed with a family, a wife, and a little girl, and I said I need to find out what the other side's doing. So I really did just apply myself, and it took a few years, but I started learning. Got my undergrad, master's in finance, and got all the certifications. But then, more importantly, I started going out and teaching. And I believe the more you learn is through teaching. And I started seeing my own wealth shift.
You do learn through teaching,
absolutely.
yes.
So it was a practical thing. And then I started eating my own cooking. and start seeing and realizing, oh, there is some truth in this because I started seeing my bank account go up. So, so it's been a process, and it's nothing that has been easy. But now that I'm on the other side, I'm still growing. I tell people that if you wanting to say, how did you get there? Here's the system. It's not hard. Matter of fact, it's simple, but it's not always easy.
Yeah.
And so that's something people tend to look for the easy way, you know, and just like building body muscle, it's not easy.
It's not easy.
Right. And people equate simple as being synonymous with easy. It's simple, but anything that's simple becomes hard if you don't put in the work.
If you don't put in the work, it will become hard. I try to tell my two daughters this all the time. I said, look, it seems counterintuitive, but here's the truth. If you do what's easy in life, life becomes hard.
Yes.
If you do what's hard in life,
life
life becomes easy. I said, take that, anything. You go to the gym, it's going to be hard working those muscles, but you're going to be healthier. And you'll have a more quality of life. And stronger and more energized. If you save, if you go to do your studies, whatever it is. So while it's a simple concept, we know we should get up and go to the gym. We know we should save money. We know, but we know by also statistics that a lot of people don't do what's simple because they want it easy.
Yes.
And like you said, those are not the same thing.
And
They're
now that
looking for quick fixes when there's a problem.
right, we live in a microwave society. We want instant gratification. So if it doesn't happen the first time, then either it wasn't meant to happen or we're not good enough, so it won't happen. So if I can't understand those complex financial situations, those computations that you're telling me, then I wasn't meant to have abundance. I wasn't meant to have wealth.
Right.
But could that be any farther from the truth?
It is absolutely farther from the truth. However, I do, because I was there. I understand when you're in the forest, you can't see the trees. So you don't see the complexity that you are making it harder than it should be. And it's really easy. I tell people all the time, look, if you just get this simple formula, I tell people, y'all mind if I share a simple?
No, please.
I say for every dollar you get, give the first 10 cents to your faith. I'm a faith-based person. So I'm all about giving the first 10 cents to my faith. Second 10 cents, give it to your future. You will, if you continue to live, you will need to store up a little bit for your future self. Your future self, absolutely. The Bible tells us in Proverbs 6:6-8 that we should be like that ant. Has no command and no overseer, but he collects his food in summer. So we'll have provisions in the winter. Absolutely. The ant knows that winter's coming. We should understand that we're going to eventually have to eat on what we save today. The third dime is you should put it towards your freedom. So the freedom could be either paying,
explain what freedom is.
So your freedom could be getting out of debt. So if you have debt, get out of debt. But notice, I didn't say concentrate on your debt first. I say concentrate on your faith, your future, and now your freedom. So your third dime should be towards getting out of debt. Or if you're not out of debt, maybe that should be towards building your financial fortress, maybe putting it into your entrepreneurial endeavors or whatever it is that will create your own freedom. And then the next 65 cents of that dollar, put it towards your family. That's what goes towards.
Isn't that why we work?
Absolutely. I mean,
that's
now, So 65 cents should be going towards the bulk of your money, towards your everyday living expenses. And so it doesn't matter what that family expenses look like. 65 cents, just give 65% of it to it. And then the last nickel, I do believe that we should be having fun. So I think God wants us to have
life is worth enjoying.
So if you do 10% to your faith, 10% to your future, 10% to your freedom, 65% to your family, and then the last nickel to your fun, I think that's a holistic life. Now the problem is getting there.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, but I'm starting from this deficit. So, well, while I get to even, I'll use that formula. But I say you have to practice even in the hard times. Right. And God is about systems. Yes, that's right. He's about systems. When you commit to the system, everything else will follow.
And you know, that has been proven. Even in my own life, if you don't, you think, oh, am I going to, just easy math, I have $1,000 and my bills are 900. What do you mean I got to give 10%? You give it to God first and God will take care of the rest.
That's right. He'll
always has.
That's right. He'll deal with the increases anytime. And I've had that same thing. And all you're saying is, God, can you afford it? And God just laughs at that. You have that mentality. You're asking, can God? And that's with anything. If God tells you to move, and I'm still dealing with this, He tells you to move to another, or tells you to go into this particular, and then you start looking at your bills. Basically, you're asking God, can you afford me? And I think He can.
And you're asking that relationship question. You're asking a question that comes out of any type of relationship that you're in. And the only difference is we're talking about money. God, can you trust me? And can I trust you? It's that back and forth relationship. And he says, give and it shall be given unto you.
Right.
He doesn't necessarily say that you have to give to this church or give to that church. He just said give. And then he will do the rest.
But there's a second component to that, because I'm glad you brought that up, because I believe if anybody's ever been in church, they do hear that Luke 6:38, give and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And most people stop right there.
There's more to it.
There's more to it. The second addendum is the most powerful addendum to it. It says, for the measure that you give shall be measured back to you. So in other words, you give a little, you
You
give
get
a
a
little.
little. That's right.
Medium, you give medium. Give a lot, you be
And
you
that's
blessed with
in
a lot.
relationships, it's with
Absolutely.
money, it's with faith.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then
Absolutely.
it really comes down to how much is your faith? How much is your faith in the process?
Right.
How much is your faith in the creator who
Right.
created the system?
Right.
And how much is your faith in you?
Right.
And that's a big thing. A lot of people have this bad relationship with money. It's they start out in a divorce instead of a marriage because of that money mindset. So how do you help them first resolve that money mindset issue so that they can now use these processes that you share?
Well, first of all, you have to identify your money mindset. I believe that the first thing is you have to understand your own perspective.
Okay.
I think there's 5 money personalities that I see when I'm helping people. Most people believe they have what they call I call it the giver. And I mean, they're really, they treat their money like a relationship. They're very much their giver. They're given to other people. Then you have the spender. You have the optimist that says everything's going to be all right. That's how I was. I was a very optimistic person, which by
Singing
the
the
way,
song.
oh man, I was like,
Everything is
I
gonna
was out
be
green.
all right.
Yeah. So I'm very optimistic, but there's sometimes no practicality in that optimistic, because you're like, I'll go spend this $1,000 and it'll just work
We're
out.
gonna worry.
God says, no, you got to be responsible. So I deal with the giver, the spender, the optimistic, but then you also have the person that puts so much trust in their money that it's all about the money. I have friends that, I mean, you know what? Their spouse break the leg and they'll tell them to go patch it up because they're looking at the bills.
Right. All
Because
about the bill.
because it's now there's so much of a saver. Their trust is more in the money than it is in just living.
Right.
And then you got the victim. So and I go through and I try to help people. So the first thing I would say is understand your money personality. And by the way, there's positives and negatives to every money personality. So
Absolutely.
once you understand it, you now know where you're coming from. And most people don't understand themselves. The Bible says, know thyself.
Yes.
And if you were to first understand you and how you're wired, and it helps you understand, who do I need to on my team? If you have a spouse, make sure we ebb and flow. And then what do I need to do to ensure that I don't either blow my financial fortress, or I can add to it based on my own money personality. We're walking around with it. Some of it's been put in from our culture and bred, but we all have money personalities. And that's the first thing you have to do is identify.
And a lot of these conversations that we've been having on BTBY TV, it talks about awareness. Before you can take action, you have to become aware. Same thing in the money mindset. You got to be aware of what your money mindset is before then you can start taking action so that you can be a good steward of that.
Absolutely.
Great information. I love it. And I love, Brenda, how he's shared his story and how he's turning it around and allowing us to see how he's used his own story to now give that knowledge back to the community at large.
Absolutely. I think you go through everything for a reason, and none of the reasons are to hold it within yourself. It's all about teaching and sharing. So sometimes it's a tough lesson for you, but it helps others to go get through what they're getting.
People tend to do it and then bring God into fix it.
Right.
Instead of do it with God and let him have it.
And I was guilty
Then
of
he
it.
gives, he shares everything with you.
I was, definitely been guilty of that. And sometimes God has to allow you to mess things up.
Am I for sure that?
You get to the point where you say, I surrender. And he says, great. Now the student's ready. Let's go.
When the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
That's right.
That's right. Well, can you give us parting words of wisdom and then tell them how they can find you?
Yeah, I believe, and thank you both for allowing me to share. I believe that we've all been given a gift, a purpose, and a reason to be here. I believe that money and finances is a huge, important part of our everyday living. We know that.
It is.
But I also believe that we put too much emphasis on it because money is just, as we've talked about, a tool to help us with our assignment. So I believe that we should all be in a position, or at least want to get in the position, we become better stewards. That means sometimes you don't necessarily have to be a financial guru. Look, I've been doing this for 25 years. I have all my financial certifications, masters and all that. But really, I have too much knowledge. You don't even need, most people don't even need a lot of knowledge in finance. They just need good stewardship, they need discipline, and they need to be committed. So if you do those things and get the money on the right path, then I believe that opens up all of our minds to the possibilities that God has allowed, and it gets the distraction off money. Probably
That's it.
70% of people are too focused on money because money obviously is important to pay our everyday living expenses. But if we get that out the way, then we really open up and get clarity of what we need to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Stewardship, discipline, and commitment. There you go. He didn't say knowledge. He said stewardship, discipline, and commitment. You know, we talk a lot about knowledge is power. Well, that couldn't be any farther from the truth. It's how you apply that knowledge that makes the difference. And that requires you to be a good steward. That requires you to take an extra level of discipline in your management of money, and then that commitment to making a change. And now that Shawn has showed you how to be aware of your money mindset, and he's given you some tools to help you with your money management system, now it's up to you. In order for you to become the best you possible around your money, now you got to go and apply it. That's right. Stewardship, discipline, and commitment.
And that, you know, invest in yourself, because look at all the people we have brought you from this conference. That's why you hear some noise going on. We have made use of our time with people who want to help you. So they're at this conference sharing their story. Some of these guys that you've seen here have actually been the speakers. Others have been people who have spoken but have chosen to keep reinvesting in themselves and sit in the audience, which we just had an interview about. And then you have guys like this who are doing both. Yes. He's already spoke, but he's still here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's taken the time for you.
Absolutely. And as far as reaching me, you can reach me on all social medias, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. That'll lead you to all of my
the other stuff.
Yeah, other stuff.
Well, you guys, that's it for this episode of BTBY TV. So thank you, Shawn, for joining us and sharing your wisdom. You know, if you're loving this content, we want you to make sure that you continue to watch BTBY TV, and also look out for our upcoming conferences. Go on over to www.comechangeyourlife.com. Get information about the virtual conferences and our live and in-person conference. That's www.comechangeyourlife.com.
Absolutely. And remember, change that mindset, change your actions, and it will change your life. And that goes for money too. Change your mindset about money, change your actions about money, and let money change your life. Thanks, guys.
Hello. I am up in my virtual office doing amazing things. And I've got this event coming up, and I'm so stoked about it because it is about becoming the best version of yourself. But, you know, the reason why this event came about and this whole movement came about is because of my past and because of things that happened to me and the things that I had to overcome. So I'm going to read to you a little portion of a book I wrote in 2015 while I was incarcerated that's about restitution. And it's not about restitution in the form that you're going to think it is. It is a fiction thriller novel. And this chick, man, she really methodically thinks out her life and how she's going to get revenge. Cold, hard revenge, like 5 years later. So she restructures her whole life, including her body, her size, her physical fitness, her looks. Nobody knows who she is. And she gets what she wants. So I'm going to read this little thing to you, and I just kind of getting started on it. So I want you to put yourself in a situation where you might want to seek revenge. But the problem with revenge is sometimes it's just best served cold, right? Here we go. Here's chapter 1, and it kind of gives just a little bit of a overview of what's going to happen next in this book. Information is money. In the business world, it is survival. The saying too much information is a bad thing couldn't be a truer statement. I sit here reminiscing about things I got away with in life. I was full of hate, vengeance, and revenge. I couldn't see straight with it. Anger had engulfed every feeling in my being. It penetrated through my bones. Everything I had was stolen from me. People I trusted turned on me, betrayed me, took from me. They would pay. I made sure of it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I watched them all beg me to stop. Their screams falling on my ears were as beautiful as birds singing on a new spring day. I remember my husband saying how he wanted to burn their house down with his entire family in it while he watched helpless. My husband could never bring himself to do it, but me? Now that was a different story. I trusted them, all of them. I taught them my life's business practices and strategies. I trained them on how to sell it and to do what I had been successful with for over 20 years. They took everything from me. I turned numb, cold, and uncaring. I started plotting my revenge. My plans were detailed, and everything was very methodical. I would execute them to the fullest extent and marvel in their screams. My family and the authorities would never link it to me. Years had passed before the first victim was taken, the first of many. That's just part of chapter 1. You know, this lady was so wronged against that she took time out to recreate herself and take back what she wanted. Now, there's a little bit of violence in here. It is a fiction thriller novel. I don't recommend that anybody do anything in this, but man, this story is, it's edge of your seat. People tell me they can't put it down. They read it throughout a day and a night. It is that good. So, just stay with me for a little bit while I touch with you on the book called Restitution. Find out a little bit more about this character, what she's capable of, how she became this person that she became. And although she's out for revenge and doing some things that are against the law, you actually start to like her. Stay tuned for more.
So I always wanted to write a book, so I'm going to take this time, I'm going to write a book. So I took everybody in my life that I thought had wronged me, and some of them did, maybe not to the extent that I was thinking, and I created a female serial killer, and she killed off every single one of us. I was getting rid of that anger. When I was writing that book, I was always going to write, right?